moving on.
Well, hello and good afternoon, all you Risen fans out there. The time has come once again. Get right back into the now. The playoff runs for all these teams. It's Spooky and Dobby here to bring you all the action. Dobby, these are going to be best of 5 going forward. They're no longer are 2 wins going to be enough to take you all the way. Gotta find that third. But before we get into all that, we're hearing the picks and the bans. Travelers going up against Pips here today. Talk to me a little bit here, Dobby. I know Travelers had a little bit of a tougher time getting here today than Pip did.
Yeah, Travelers went 3-2 on it last week, while Primal Instinct just 3-0'd DHT pretty easily. But since then, a new patch has come and gone. And we're seeing power picks that are still very well and very comfortable on these on these players. With the Viego being gone, the Aatrox still being taken away despite the nerfs, and Meep still being target banned with that Bard. Can't let him play what he's best at. So just seeing how they work and how this thing goes. This should be an exciting best of 5.
So, with the new patch coming forward here, are there any picks you're thinking might be prioritized that we haven't seen as much before? Anything that's come into prominence? Nico, example, going to be first picked here.
Well, Nico's really strong, good overall, in a nice spot, but I would have loved to see, Rel is still OP. Extremely strong, and you match it very well with EMF, and then you just play the front to back team fight, and you have such strong control. I hope we get to see it here just so everyone can see what I'm talking about. But Gragas, also a very good pick here from the side of Travelers. Really good at disrupting any team fight, and which is what you're going to need as Nico tries to be cheesy and get into those fights.
And cheesy is the name of the game when it comes to those Nico players, I've noticed. Never have too much fun with them around. But Gragas, right? We've seen Gragas in several different roles throughout his time here.
Mm-hmm.
With him being one of the first selections over here for Travelers, where are you expecting to see him? Do you think this is a jungle matchup that they want to take, or do you think they want to put him into a lane, or is it still just a flex potential?
Right now, I think it's flex potential. Just trying to see what Pip can do, because you can go into the solo lanes, but I absolutely foresee it going into the jungle just because it's extremely strong. It's good into almost everything, and it does have a lot better gank potential than it does have lane potential.
See how it goes here. I do kind of agree with you. I would rather see him going to that jungle as well. The Renekton being hovered here for the top lane. Primal Instinct. Does that sway you at all? Is there anything you're looking at there? Do you think, oh, maybe they want to put this Gragas over there?
I think Renekton's just a really strong pick in general. It's definitely blind worthy. And depending on who you want to talk to about it, but like it can go top or mid very well. So I would definitely want to keep it away, Gragas away from that. So seeing the Renekton, Gragas is going into the jungle, and they need to pick something that's good into the Renekton. However, I think Pip would do well going into this next ban phase, getting rid of those counter picks that do well, as the Travelers pick into the Rakan to go for the Lovers duo here in the bot lane.
And gotta say, I hate that lane. Do you know how noisy that lane is? Like, every time I'm playing against it, all I hear are both their champion cues over everything. I'm hearing their champion cues when they're moving. I can't stand this lane, man.
They're like every Instagram couple ever.
They really are. It's just the absolute worst. Getting to the second ban phase, though, Xerath taken off the board. Been seeing a little bit more of him recently since his buffs. Been pretty powerful. Do you think that this is the right banning away one of these who are mid laners with this Renekton on board? Because it feels like Travelers are kind of committing to Renekton being in that top lane.
Well, I haven't seen Haruki's recently played list, but Xerath got a real nice buff. Definitely improved his quality of life and is extremely powerful. But I don't know if I agree with the ban seeing the Nico pickup, especially because there's only like one or two places it can really go. Yeah, you can flex it everywhere you want to, but where is it strongest? And then we see the Traveler's answer into Renekton is the Gnar. I am 50-50 on this because once Gnar is in Mega, that's when he wants to fight, and that's where Renekton shines, is in those melee matchups. So we'll have to see Gnar utilizing that hyper very well to chip down the Renekton before going all in. But we see the Ahri hover and lock-in now, so the Nico most likely not going mid, probably either jungle or support.
Now, what's the over-under on the Ahri support?
There's one person in high elo, and she plays Ahri 80 carry, and she makes me hate my life. And it's not for the reason that you think. It's just like the player is good enough to win 50% of the games, but it's never because they're carrying. So like when it's on your team, it's a liability. When it's against your team, you're like, oh, it's a free win. But with the Poppy lock-in, the Poppy is really good, being able to like negate that Rakan engage as long as we're using that steadfast presence extremely well. But Orianna, a safe mid laner here, matches very well with what the composition wants to do, which is team fight. Rounding it out here for Travelers, and there we go. We have our draft.
So, see the full 5 on each side here. Poppy probably going towards the jungle roles where we've typically been seeing her. It's Nico then, probably leaning more towards the support role, yes?
Yeah, I think it's going to pairing it with the Ezreal very well. It's mostly a poke lane, trying to go for kill. The Zyrakan is mostly just to survive. But no, excuse me. The Nico is there to help get the Ezreal online faster. The Ezreal early levels doesn't have a lot of dueling potential, but the Zyrakan at 6 will do well. But the Nico definitely counters that with her ultimate. So we'll just be able to see what goes on and how they play that lane.
So we talked a little bit, just a little tiny bit, about that top lane matchup. This Gnar against this Renekton. How do you foresee that going? I know you talked about Gnar needing to chip down this Renekton before committing with the Mega. How effective do you think that plan is going to be? Are we going to see some Poppy presence up there to try to mitigate that? How do you see Primal Instinct kind of dealing with this?
Well, I think Renekton actually might win this matchup. Just because Gnar is going to chip him down. Renekton wants to be in the minion wave, and that rage, he'll be able to use his Q to heal back most of the damage coming from Gnar's hyper passive. And then if Gnar ever wants to go and fight the Renekton in the minion wave, this is where Renekton excels. And Renekton isn't so much trying to hard win the lane, but is going to like help carry the team fights and just be that annoying frontline presence. The Gnar also has the certain ability to get away from him and stuff, but most of the time, if the Gnar is utilizing his abilities, it's to get away,
right,
from Renekton, not to go into Renekton. I think I think it's Pip favored in this matchup on the top side.
So, Primal Instinct favored on the top end of things. What about the rest of the map here, right? Because obviously the game is a lot more than a single lane matchup. We've got this Gragas to worry about in the jungle from Travelers. We've got the Lovers duo lane down the bot lane. as you mentioned, Oriana is just very safe overall, right? So
Yeah.
if this Renekton doesn't get a big snowball lead, where is Primal Instinct looking to kind of push their game plan forward?
Well, if I'm Primal Instinct, I'm going to focus on the mid lane. Yeah, Travelers is forced to use the sub. They're both of the 80 carries they have right now are out of commission due to weather, adverse weather. So bringing in a sub, forcing their mid onto 80 carry, and then having that person now play mid, making them go on the Oriana, which is a low mechanically skilled champion. You don't have to be extremely good at the game to play it. That's where I would focus a lot. Give Haruki the most favorable matchup as possible. And if I'm Travelers, I'm probably going to play to my Xayah win con and focus a lot on the bot side of the map.
So game plans from both sides, though, but how easy is it to focus on playing through that Xayah? Because I'm looking over here what Primal Instinct has. Neeko and Ezreal. Very good poke. Ezreal is one of the biggest pains in the game to actually catch in that bot lane.
Yeah.
How do you facilitate your Xayah through that?
Well, every 5 minutes, Rakan's gonna have his flash, and as long as you're utilizing his ultimate effectively, you pop it, you go in, you flash, you immediately make sure that you lock it in, and then if you ease away, utilize your W, and then you're just trying to constantly lock him down, to give you long enough time to allow Xayah to also layer that CC down with their feathers, and hopefully being able to do that. However, you have this issue with Neeko, who will sometimes be a caster minion, who will sometimes be a ward, who will probably do a lot of roaming in this game because Ezreal is a safe champion to play in the 1v2 because of that mobility. So Travelers need to abuse the fact that Ezreal is going to be down there. And by doing so, this will force the Neeko to stay in the bot side of the map, not roam, not get the other lanes ahead. And as long as you're controlling that aspect on the side of Travelers, I think you have a pretty good chance of winning this game.
I think we've broken this down about as much as we can here, Dobby. So the only thing we can really do next is see it in game. But before we get into all that, we're gonna take a quick short break. This player's having a couple power outage issues, so we're gonna get that all resolved. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, we are back with the game itself this time. Just a reminder, this is Primal Instinct against Travelers. Take a look at the top of your screen. You'll see which side those two are on. Primal Instinct on blue, Travelers over on the red. Still Spooky and Dobby here. And Dobby, we're finally into things. We finally managed to get things rolling on through here. Now the question is, how do these teams decide to get things rolling for themselves? Where are you expecting things to start with these two teams?
Yeah, I expect a lot of prio to be happening around this bot side of the map, either between mid or the bot lane itself. Like we were talking about in draft, I really think that Primal Instinct needs to focus on this Ahri-Orianna matchup. Haruki versus the untried and tested Jessica Timpson, who hasn't even played a game yet on this current patch. So just being able to utilize that mechanical and experiential difference should give them a lot of wonders here, as Great Power Van has been forced onto AD carry due to Crit's power outage.
You can call that a critical failure on the power issue there. But no, we'll see how they do things. Perhaps Great Power Van will power through this lane and show us that maybe they're a natural down there in the duo. But as things stand, it is currently Travelers being pressured in on that bot side just a little bit there. Across the map, things seem relatively even. We talked a lot about that top lane. Do you consider that to be a swing point? Or do you think it'll mostly just be neutral?
Well, whoever gets the kill lead in the top side in the 1v1 will end up winning the wave. But you see that Barbie up there is still keeping that CS close, even with the wave crashing in on him. But here in the mid lane, Jessica holding their own against Haruki here in the matchup. Pretty even so far. But you see Stro pathing towards the top side, and then Midnight going towards bot. So hopefully Midnight decides to go and pay some attention mid here, since their bot lane is so far ahead already, as already crashing under their tower.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they do decide to take this, and keep an eye on that map. See, Midnight is local in the bot side. And I have a gank opportunity, but Meep's trying to go in, doesn't quite find the knockup he's looking for. So this is going to be the Scuttle Crab that Midnight is looking to instead. I like the fact that Midnight is showing face down there. You could see from the pathing, Midnight was ready to look for a gank if Meeps had actually found something there. But given the safety, it's just back to the farming, just trying to stay ahead of Stro and try to find any lead they can, it seems like.
Yeah, really good pathing for Midnight, being able to answer in case anything were to happen. And you saw Stro on the top side as well, but I think spending so much extra time up there would probably did a hindrance to Savoda, mostly because you took away the experience. You were sitting on a ward most of the time, and you were just getting your time wasted. And you see that Midnight able to get the double scuttle here.
Oh, Meep's going in, and dashes right back out. Travelers currently taking a little bit of a beating in this bot lane. The poke is just very strong for Primal Instinct right now. And it doesn't feel like there's been a whole lot of response from Travelers. But Nutty is getting low on mana as well, so that's going to be less poke available to him. Looks like it's going to be a reset from the bot lane as well.
Yeah, really smart to push him back, get that reset before your opponents are, so you can get the wave faster. Really good rotations so far coming out of Primal Instinct. But you see that Savoda has to answer in kind, or he's just going to lose it out. He's got to back himself, especially now that Barbie's got a 6. That Dominus is extremely powerful, and if Midnight was out there, they could definitely dive and get something out of it. Yeah,
Dominus just offers so much at level 6 when Recton wants to really go in there. And with how safe Svoboda's having to play, it really kind of feels like Barbie kind of has the run of the lane right now. Whatever he wants to do up there, he's kind of got free reign of it. Are we expecting to see Stro go back up there? It didn't really work out the first time, so maybe just needs to look somewhere else?
I think Stro needs to look somewhere else. Like the win con is power van. Like you're not gonna expect the Gnar to carry the game, but you are gonna need that Zaya to output a lot of damage. And the fact that like even here, Nico hasn't been in that lane for a while, and power van's still being pushed off by Nutty. Crashing it now into the wave. Now you got this Primal on the bot side as Dragon's here, and you could potentially see a 4v4 coming out.
Big damage goes out onto Power Band. Keep an eye on the jungle as well there. Action in the mid lane around the river. Both sides being pressured. Power Van dangerously low next to his tower there. It's just constant aggression. Blue buff being pressured down now by Primal Instinct Purple. Stro's in the area trying to contest. But how long can they keep this song and dance up? Here comes the rotation from the duo lane. Meeps. Go on in. Doesn't quite find the knockup. Power Van now is the target. Has to find a way out. Flash is good. Keep himself alive for now. No one's falling.
Watch out. There it goes.
Ooh, that is not a lot of value from the Orianna ult there. Now it's another Flash Stro on the retreat. Travelers looking to travel their way out of this exchange. Nutty looking to fire over the wall. Comes over the wall. Blinks. Lots of damage. Can't find the kill just yet. And somehow Stro has limped his way back under the tier 1 tower in mid lane. He is A-okay for now.
Yeah, but this burning all those summoners on both sides of the map here kind of limits what we're going to be able to see on the bot side, but hopefully Midnight is able to apply this pressure on Shuro since he'll be without that flash. But right now, you kind of see Primal Instinct just kind of starting to build this lead, especially in the bot side of the map, as Ezreal has been basically untouched the entire time and constantly pressuring, getting it in onto that tower, potentially being able to start taking plates here after the next back.
Yeah, currently Nutty won a couple hundred gold ahead of Grey Power Van right now, but all in all, things are still pretty even across the board. Yeah, there was a lot of flashes that came through, but it was actually 3 flashes, 4-3 flashes there. Meeps still has his available. So while we may see some pressure being put onto Stro in the jungle, I'm hoping, that between top lane and one bot laner still having a flash available, there will be some kind of response. The question is, how much can they actually do to stop Midnight? Because this Poppy is a tanky target. It's hard to kill. Now, Herald going the way of Primal Instinct, really without contention.
Yeah, the Primal that they were able to establish in the top side of the map really let them go up there. No problems. But you see that Travelers answering in kind. As soon as that Rift Herald was taken, they immediately went to that Dragon. Take it away. That early Mountain, not a lot of gold value at the beginning, but as the game goes on, that 6% is definitely going to add up. Or 8%, excuse me. And we'll do wonders for that team. And kind of curious to see what the Soul's going to be, especially since that Ocean is the next dragon to spawn.
You want to take bets on what it'll be?
Oh, I think it's going to be Chemtech because it's not popular and Riot always doesn't give you what you want.
Okay, I'm going to say Infernal because I never see that one anymore, and I really want to see that one. It's been so long since I had an Infernal Drake. You want to know the last time I had an Infernal Soul? It was playing 2v2v2v2v2.
Arena strikes again. You only...
Yeah, it's been a trial trying to find that Drake in the wild. Must be an endangered species, I would say. But keep an eye on this river as well. Stro is in the area. He's trying to find some kind of engagement, trying to get something going, but the safety from Primal Instinct is just too much. They don't fall for the bait. And unless they're going in, how do you start that fight?
They should have forced it. Meeps hit 6. He has his flash. The fact that we're not utilizing those abilities down there, the quickness is so good. And you're going to guarantee getting onto them. Especially because they don't have the flash. You were able to burn out his E. but they just didn't want to go for it. And I mean, that's fine, but they're paying for it right now.
Yeah, well,
And
here
it
comes
looks like we're
Stro
trying to
now.
force.
They're looking for it. Cast comes out, explosive, puts Nutty One back into danger. Featherstorm comes through, finds the kill, but here comes Midnight and sends Grey Power Van to the darkest of screens. Barbie also here goes up into the dominant Stro, now caught by himself, nowhere to go. He goes down as 2 for 1 in favor of Primal Instinct Purple.
Little bit of a misplay there from Power Van. It looked like he was trying to do damage with his ultimate while also trying to try and get away from the Nico ultimate herself, but it just didn't play out that way. And then Barbie immediately getting down there. Not getting that kill is actually very good on the side of Travelers, because now Sabota is getting those tower plates. Definitely getting more gold value out of it. But we'll see how it plays out, since Power Van was able to get the kill, so good on him. But we see Stro paying for his crimes, suffering on the side of on the side of Travelers. But
Tries to get aggressive and ends up in no man's land. Unfortunately, the disengage was the right call, I feel, but it just left Stro standing, and sometimes that's the way things break at the end of the day. But still gets his blue buff, doesn't get invaded a second time. This mid lane may be under some pressure with both Haruki and Barbie in the area. Joe's gonna have to stay local if he wants to make sure that tower doesn't go down, and looks like they're in the clear after that. Haruki? No? Really? We're not going in. Okay, I mean, I guess that felt like an easy engage for me, but I suppose Travelers thinking better of it.
yeah, when you're at that point, you always gotta ask yourself, if you don't see them, where are they? And then and if you don't see them, they're always near you. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. Like you don't have the vision, you don't know where they are, and you need to play like they're right next to you. So not knowing where Midnight or Haruki is definitely prevents them from going all the way in.
See, I never asked myself that question. I never ask. I don't play with respect. Now, you may notice that I tend to have a high amount of deaths, but my assists are also up there. I don't play support, but they're up there. So, you know, it's a give and take. Sometimes you just got to go for it.
Maybe role swaps in your future.
No, definitely not. You've seen my support. It's very not good because I'm always going for it from level 1. And it's not a good look.
That's why champions like Rakan exist.
Oh, well, here comes Midnight getting locked down. Not quite under tower. Ignites come through, but Midnight has nowhere to go because Stro is here. Grey Power Van finds the last shot. Now Turtle disengaging from that. Tried to put some damage out. Not enough to turn the tides there.
A lot of miscommunication there. Midnight went in before the wave was crashed. Unable to do anything. Getting locked up under tower. An extreme misplay for them, because now you see Travelers going straight for that second dragon. Being able to early stack these dragons will do wonders for them to keep them into the game longer.
Oh boy, well here comes Turtle. Big Nico comes through. The Ignite is good, puts Meeps back down. Jessica Timpson and Stro are looking to turn this one around. Svoboda doesn't quite find the lockdown, but it's a double kill for the mid lane. A triple kill! I'm sorry, put the respect where it's due. Jessica Timpson coming up and showing their worth here in the mid lane.
Yeah, Jessica Timpson definitely showing the worth. You're a sub. You got to show that you're meant to be on that roster in some capacity. And stepping up in game 1 of semifinals is the way to show your name out there. Probably looking to get on a team next season, everyone. But like, look at that, 3-0 on Orianna in that matchup, ahead of Haruki. An extremely good TP from Sabota to be able to secure everything there as we fight around Rift Herald.
Svoboda putting some hurt onto Midnight there. The ultimate comes through, pushes Svoboda away. Now, Herald still being looked at, does finally get secured. That will leave Travelers traveling away from this exchange now, and they're not able to find a whole lot there. But, Dobby, there's an important thing that we need to take note of. It is Kendrake.
It is. Oh, pay up.
You're way too happy about this.
Well, this is really good. The tenacity and shield bonus will do very well in the Rakan as long as Travelers is the one to keep stacking it. But hey, if we're not, like, it's good on both teams. And if you can get 4 of these on the side of Pip, then you're just gonna be rolling through them.
I feel like anytime you get 4 of any dragon onto a team, it's just absolutely disgusting at that point. Barbie in some trouble. Explosive cast pushes him back. Doesn't find the stun, though. Barbie will be able to walk away from this one. Does burn the dominance. But
yeah, dominance
1
is
ult
gone.
for 2.
Flash is gone. Like, yes, a little bit of misplay there, but you are able to get both those summoners now as he TPs back to top lane. Ooh.
Oh boy, Timpson is gonna just die there. Nothing to say about that one. Tried to use the shockwave to pull Midnight away. Didn't connect. 300 gold over to Primal Instinct.
That 600 with that shutdown.
600.
Which is really good on Primal Instinct, seeing that Jessica's down there all by her lonesome. And then just being able to overload the amount of personnel on that side.
Oh my, Featherstorm leading this fight off here, but getting blasted down. Nowhere to go for the Gray Power Van. That one's gonna need a tune-up after that. Tro now next target, but the flash comes in from Meeps just to pull the aggro off. It's gonna be a double kill for Midnight. Keeps the jungler alive, but at the cost of both bot laners.
Yeah, large misplays there for the side of Travelers. You should never engage a fight as Zaya. Kind of defeats the purpose of utilizing the ultimate there. But, I mean, Pip is responding very well into this, building a 4K gold lead now, just out-rotating and out-macroing Travelers. You don't really see them answering any of this aggression, losing towers for free, and the only thing you have to show for it are 2 dragons.
Yeah, and we've seen what Primal Instinct can do with the lead. Once they get momentum, they can carry on strong. Svoboda trying to turn this around, knocked into the wall. Stun is good. Barbie somehow still alive, and the glass cast doesn't quite do it, and neither does the toss. Barbie gets to walk out alive after all that was put into them. That is tragic for Travelers.
Yeah, it's real disheartening too, because you feel like you're doing good in the matchup on the top side. It's been relatively 1v1. You're each just sitting at 1 assist, but you're just not able to kill the Renekton, and it's punishing your team constantly. As Jessica Timpson's caught out here once again.
Yeah, just nowhere for them to go. They tried running, but that's just taking you further away from your team. An unfortunate spot to be in for the mid laner. Yeah, this is kind of what we were just talking about here, where Primal Instinct has found themselves some momentum. Remember, they got to the semis from the quarters in a 3-0 sweep. This isn't a team that you want to just let have some gas, because now they're taking a dragon. Now they're pushing this gold lead even further ahead for themselves. Where is it going wrong for Travelers? What did they do here to kind of pull this one back?
Well, where it went wrong is they weren't matching the Nico roams. Meeps was focusing on a lane and allowed all these free rotations while Ezreal still maintained a lead. So the lack of punish even from staying in the lane is ultimately what's causing a lot of these issues. As the game goes on and Travelers continues to bleed, it seems that like they're just moving without a lot of vision knowledge. You see they have wards placed along the map in certain areas, but like, what are you really seeing in those locations?
Right.
Almost nothing. And it's causing them to play overextended, which is allowing Primal Instinct to come in there and just continuously punish them in their own jungle, nonetheless. And they're starting to build up an even larger lead now. Got all this vision around Baron ready to go. And Travelers is just underneath their turrets, except for Svoboda, who is probably the only one who should ever be split pushing like this, because Zanar has the ability to get away.
It's a tight spot now that the Travelers have put into. It's not completely over, right? 4,000 gold is not a pretty look, but it could be a lot worse than it is. We've seen some significant gold leads, and we've seen people come back from bigger ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Travelers, they need to clean something up here, right? Obviously, vision is one that you touched on. Having Svoboda split pushing these lanes. What about the rest of it, though, right? There's still 4 more players, and they have had some good team fights, but they've had some sloppy ones. Is it just their execution?
Yeah, the execution is a little bit of a problem, but preparing for these team fights is also a thing. One of the things that I learned recently from an Overwatch coach was like how to like call for triggers.
Oh my goodness, speaking of triggered, I think Svoboda might be getting triggered over this rotation now. Lots of damage put into him. Midnight loops in from behind, 2v1. One more kill.
That Poppy is so strong right at the moment.
Ugh.
But like, yeah, a lot of what is the issue is that they're not calling for these triggers, and those triggers need to be like what causes those team fights to happen after they've been prepped. But it doesn't look like they're doing that, because if they get a really good team fight, doesn't matter if they're 4,000 gold behind. SKT like 5 years ago showed the power of a good team fight from 10,000 gold behind with a Gnar, with an Orianna on their team. So as long as they're able to play around those item spikes, set up for a good team fight, they could win this handedly, as long as Pip doesn't respect them. Which, as the game goes further on, you're playing against a team who you think is a free win, you start to get a little bit more lax, a little bit, you feel like it's an easy win, and that's when the mistakes happen. And that's what you gotta pray for on the side of Travelers.
Wow. You mentioned some item spikes here, so let's take a look at the items for just a moment here. Sim obviously has the Leandri's Anguish online, and just completed the upgrade into the Shadow Flame as well there. Across the board is 2 items, maybe an item and a half for a lot of Travelers. As I look over towards Primal Instinct Purple, right? And Barbie, for one, is having a great time right now. Full boots, Black Cleaver, Stride Breaker online.
Yeah. He's about 1,000 gold ahead.
Yeah.
You see that the carries, they're farming well enough. They just hit their second items as they go for that Baron. But most of Pip is an item and a half, is like a half an item ahead. Yeah. So as they've already been accomplished, they already finished their second items, and this Baron just sitting at 4,000. And we're not.
Oh, TP for TP here. Svoboda just walks straight into a charm. True Shot Barrage rips through, puts a good chunk of damage on Svoboda there. But still, it is the Travelers looking to get engaged on this fight. Neat. Looking forward. Doesn't quite fight anything just yet, but the dominance comes through. Feather Storm comes out. It's a lot of damage. But Midnight is right in the middle of everyone, and the health bars are getting destroyed. Nutty One on the killing spree, putting so much damage out. He plays forward. He still finds another kill. This is a full ace of 5 for 2 in favor of Primal Instinct. Who needs a Baron when you get kills like that?
Yeah, that entire team fight was carried by Turtle there. Being able to flash in and get a 4 or 5 man ultimate off, that Pop Blossom was just so devastating to the backline of Travelers. And like, if that never happened, Travelers would have won that fight because they were playing it well enough and putting out the damage. You saw how close it was at the end there. Yeah. But like, Turtle put on his carry pants, laced up those Nikes, and got into that backline extremely quickly. And we see both teams are just rushing towards this dragon. Maybe we'll see another 5v5. Here we go.
Yeah, it is a tough team fight to lose there. but the Baron has not been taken. This fight isn't the worst one that Travelers could look at. Multiple's still unavailable for the side of Primal Instinct Purple. Same is true for the Travelers as well. Great Power Van. Stepping a little bit far up, but not being pressured just yet here. Dragon getting pulled now by the Travelers. 7,500 gold behind. It's a risky one. Charm doesn't quite connect. Shockwave hits 3. Meeps goes in, but he finds nothing. And it's another Pop Blossom hitting 3 members of the Travelers. Haruki already takes one down. There's no ADC for the Travelers anymore. Svoboda cannot keep the pressure up. He gets ripped apart trying to frontline. And this dragon should go the way. Primal Instinct, so 4 members strong. And it's only 3. The health bars are not the strongest right now, Dobby. This could still be risky.
Jessica should have backed by now and TP'd back in. This would have been perfect timing for them because the dragon was waiting for so long. But it looks like Pip might be backing off of this. Both teams are backing off, and Rookie TPing in. They're going back for the dragon, securing it. They're doing what Jessica should have done already, but just never did. So this is Meep giving away a kill. Nope, got his W off just in time.
He's gonna slide his way to safety for now. Stroh's in the area. Jessica also here, but they're not gonna be able to stop that dragon. Far too much damage. Another 2-shot barrage. Finding some good value. Once again, Travelers just left on the back foot. Nothing they could do there, and now they're just extending this deficit. 8,000 gold behind.
Yeah, and it's a real shame because Travelers haven't really misplayed so much. If they just like warded a little bit better, able to mark where Turtle is coming in from, then they would be able to control these fights a lot better. I mean, without Turtle, Traveler would be winning these two fights.
Svoboda is looking for a little bit more aggression. Doesn't quite find the stun, but Jessica finds a shutdown there. That's a big one. Ooh, the charm hits. Great power vamps a lot of damage out.
1,000 gold is a pretty big deal, especially on one of your carries.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that swing that way. Now there's a little bit of a skirmish here still around the Baron. Keeps being looked at. Still alive for now. Travelers need to be very careful here. They cannot step up too aggressively. Otherwise, they may find themselves biting off more than they bargained for.
This is where, if I'm Traveler, this is exactly where I'm trying to start fights. In the 4v5, or at least get some of these, some of the standing objective bounty gold, which they're getting now. But it's a little slow in that rotation now that not anyone is up.
Well, Tier 1 in mid finally falls down. It's a good little chunk of gold in the pockets of the Travelers. You can take a look at that gold graph there at the top. You can see things have shored up just a little bit. Be careful this top lane, though, because Barbie is going to go for it. And this is a very weak tower right now. It's a full rotation coming in. Tower
needs to be careful.
Barbie should just be dead here. There's just be no way.
If Barbie dies here, that's a lot of gold on the side move, just taken away from them. And now it's a 4v5 as this Baron comes up. Travelers can transition this into their Baron if they play this right. Ooh,
gosh, wow. Turtle's taking so much damage. He's gone. No more Nico. No more Pop Blossom to be concerned about. It's just as you said, Dobby. Now it is the Travelers looking to make this Baron their own. So be careful. Lots of members around. Big hammer comes through from Midnight, but it doesn't hit the jungler. Svoboda taking so much damage. Meep's so very low. Stroh is still in the area, and it's a secure objective bounty. Been claimed. Baron goes the way of the Travelers, but can they get back out is the question. Stroh taking a lot of aggro. He knows there's nowhere to go. He's gonna fall, and it's just Jessica with the Baron now.
Well, I mean, they were able to get rid of that objective, taking it away from Pip, which is good in itself. I mean, it's a shame that everyone died afterwards, but as long as you're playing around Jessica, you're going to be able to pressure. They shouldn't be able to take this mid lane turret here, but they'll definitely be able to secure that bot side. inner tier. But now that everyone's starting to spawn up, we have Dragon coming up in a minute 30. This is where we should see the next team fight. And I mean, any give that Travelers are able to take, like, they need to keep going for it. Oriana got that Void Staff. That's going to do tons of damage. And then just seeing how they play around Jessica is how I think they have their win con. Jessica is now their win con.
It's such a tough situation to be in, though, right? Because Jessica is the sub, right? You don't have as much synergy with this player. You haven't played with them as often as you've played with your main roster. So now your biggest win con is the one you've probably played with the least. Like, what kind of effect does that have on the team?
Well, Jessica may be the odd one out here, but the other four know how to play around. Oh, everyone knows how to play around mid lane, and it's a tried and true thing in League of Legends. And as long as Jessica knows where to be at the right time, they'll be fine. And the team should be able to support her very well in this and get what they need done to accomplish the goal. And it looks like we see Haruki caught out here.
Yeah, this is a massive rotation.
Getting that Jessica treatment from earlier in the game here in the top side. But Dragon's up now and everyone's top. So hopefully they're able to transition this into another tower while they give away this Dragon Soul point to the side of Pip.
Oh boy, Turtle under some aggression here. Meeps just goes straight in on them. Not enough to save the tower. It is enough to save the inhibitor. I'm surprised we saw so little come from that rotation from Travelers. They didn't take a tier 2 tower. They simply reset to defend the base. Lost Dragon, lost its inhibitor tower. It doesn't feel worth it.
Yes, that gold value trade is bad, but the fact that Meeps and Power Van were able to burn Turtle's flash is a blessing in disguise, because the next team fight that happens, that Nico isn't going to be able to flash Pop Blossom in, and this is a boon for the Travelers backline. Keeping those damage dealers alive is just going to be good, but you still see they're like 5,500 gold behind. They need to start going for some picks here so that they can start fighting for vision to set up for these objectives so that they can continue to claw their way back into this game.
Now, when you're down like this, 6,000 gold behind, it's really hard to be the one starting a fight, right? It's a tall order to be the initiators. But with Turtle's flash being down, that feels like what they have to do. Big damage comes out from Strobe. The explosive gas doesn't quite find Meeps. Looking for a little bit more. This might just be the shutdown they're looking for. Nutty One's still alive. Goes down. Strobe finally proves me wrong on that, actually. It's quite easy to be the initiator when it's 1v1 like that.
Really good. They got rid of the Nutty One's Ezreal. It was just so hard to catch, and everyone else should be basically free at this point. But what they need to do is utilize this momentum, get back into the game. I mean, they're clawing back. It was 8,000 gold. They managed to claw back to 5. They need to keep this pressure up and start setting around vision, especially now that Baron's going to be coming up in about a minute. But as long as they're able to continue going for these pick plays, getting these numbers advantages in the 4v5s will allow them to do wonders into these team fights. And I really think that Travelers are showing why they're here in the playoffs. Yes, they didn't have an easy quarterfinal, but they're showing that Pip isn't going to have an easy semifinal.
Yeah. Well, Baron continues to tick down here. Expect both teams to start stepping up. Turtle's flash still down. Nutty One, no heal, no flash. Well, you take a look over at the Travelers. Almost every summoner is available, minus the cleanse or this Xayah. Great Power Band does not have that extra safety tool available to them right now. Just take a look how aggressive the position is from Travelers right now. They're looking for any kind of pick that they can get. And it might just be Barbie here. Lap
Barbie being caught out
in.
again.
Charm is good. Quickness finds some value here. Barbie trying to find a way out. Flash comes through, might get him away, but it's not enough. The Shro has slain another one. And that's a reset now for Travelers.
This is the same thing that just happened to them last time. As soon as Baron spawned, Barbie was caught out. Now it's a 4v5, and as long as they're playing around this smartly, now that Sabota's got them on the flank, we should see a pretty easy team fight coming out aside for Travelers now that they don't have that Renekton coming in on them. Turtle's Flash is still down, so that Pop Blossom isn't going to get to that backline.
Oh, Midnight looking to pressure Svoboda out here a little bit. There's no help coming for this Gnar. Transformation goes Mega. But still, we're not seeing a commitment from Travelers. Barbie, 8 seconds out. Teleport is available. Once they come off respawn, they can be here in a moment's notice. The aggression, though, Midnight goes on in, looking to start this fight up. The shutdown comes through. It is Grave Power Band collecting the bounty on that. And the Shro is just walking through this team. Has to burn the Zanyas away from Haruki's damage. Barbie's here, but at half health already. There's a massive engagement coming from the Travelers, traveling straight through the health bars of Primal Instinct. Where is your survival instinct, though? You're back to the grayscale. Turtle, only one alive, has to reset and try to stop this 4-man push.
Yeah, that's also crazy. Xayah got the shutdown on Poppy. Extra gold in her pocket, getting him on that item spike faster. You got Baron up, you have Dragon coming up. You have bot lane pressure. Right now, it is all in Travelers' hands to they're in the driver's seat. They need to focus. They need to be able to get these objectives and control this game. And they are clawing back from 8,000 gold into the winner's seat here. And I am loving it.
Still at a slight deficit here, but now it's both teams at soul point for the Dragons. You can expect Baron to be the next thing looked at here. 3 Chemdrakes stacked up for Primal Instinct. Meanwhile, Travelers have a bit of a medley for Dragons here. Gold now shrunk down to 3,000. What? A massive comeback so far.
Yeah.
But you have to be realistic, right? They are still at a deficit. They've taken the momentum of the game, but they are still fighting a somewhat uphill battle here.
Yeah, but we're getting to the point where we're at these we're getting towards the late game. This gold value isn't going to be as meaningful anymore as we start getting to these 6 item builds. As long as Travelers is still able to maintain the pick and then objective play style that they've been executing from behind, they are going to finish this game out. But Pip, still extremely strong. Ezreal is extremely versatile. The Ahri is really good at getting in and out, and that Poppy is super fed. And this is where Pip has to shine. Turtle flashes up, Pop Blossom ready to go. Backline of Travelers not safe.
They have to be very careful here. Travelers are trying to play this game where they're just keeping Pip interested. Meeps doesn't quite find any value, and now Barbie comes in, getting shredded. Lots of damage. Svoboda comes up from the bot lane. The TP is good, but it's a 1-for-1 so far. Pop Blossom comes through, but it hits nothing. The Zanyas have come through to keep some alive, but how many are still walking away from this one? 3 already dead for the Travelers. They have to make their way back up the lane. And that may just be the Baron going down the way of Primal Instinct.
Yeah.
Excellent engagement from Primal Instinct. Meeps not able to find the value.
Yeah. They try to overforce it onto the Ezreal, even though you didn't have flash on the Rakan ult. The quickening not going to be a guarantee as long as that Ezreal is completely able to distort out of there every time. But we see that getting that inhibitor has helped Travelers at least buy some time, getting some turret damage on those Nexus towers. But Pip has this ability. They're pinging that bot side tower. Their last inhibitor turret standing. Looks like they're probably going to be pushing that way. And then probably going to just do a full clear of inhibitors before ending the game.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough defense for the Travelers. Got to play a lot more cleanly than they just did. They got to do it without a flash for their ADC. Svoboda should have his back up by the time we're looking at this defense here. Things will be cut close. Midnight may find Meeps and Chill. Decides not to go aggressive there. Instead, just looking to take this farm away, strip gold away from the Travelers. That's really what's going to seal the deal for them.
Yeah, and the Poppy's at full build, just extremely strong. Ezreal's at full build, extremely strong. And then on the side of Travelers, they're almost there, but not quite. And they're going to be punished here from it. And based off of the way everything is going, they're now sitting at a 7,000 gold deficit again after clawing so back. 40-minute game, they might not just have it in them anymore to stall and just go into the next game at this point with a better game plan. And hopefully it's about respecting the Ezreal a little bit more, utilizing the engage to secure the CC in, and so much damage coming out. But let's pray that Crit is able to come back in. Not to say Jessica wasn't doing a great job here in the mid lane.
Ooh, Stroke is absolutely deleted. Oh my god! What a catastrophic defense for the Travelers here. Jessica on the way out, trying to find any escape, but it's a triple kill by Rookie here at the end of the match. Svoboda goes down to Nutty One, and that's going to be the story of game number 1 there, Dobby. It may have taken them 43 minutes. At the end of the day, they do take that Nexus down. But one notch on the belt here for Primal Instinct Purple.
Yeah, it was a long, hard-fought game. Primal Instinct definitely deserved the win there with how cleanly they were playing, but Travelers showing that they've got a lot of fight in them and that they're willing to take this the entire way. Hopefully we can see those performances going into these next games, because 43 minutes, it's hard-fought, it is taxing, but like you obviously have it in you. Let's push through, keep it up. Reset into game 2. Let's see if Crit's back. Hopefully that should alleviate a lot of these synergy problems that we were seeing in those team fights. But overall, great start to the series.
Well, one thing is for sure, we're going to be seeing some kind of performance going forward here, because this one is far from over. Normally, you get one win, great, halfway there. Only a third away this time. Still plenty of comeback potential. So stay tuned, get yourself a drink, get yourself a snack. We'll be right back with game number 2. All right, everybody. We gave you ample time to restore your drinks and get yourself something to eat for this next one. And if the last game was anything to go by, you will be needing it. 40-minute banger starts off our day between Primal Instinct Purple and the Travelers. Still Spooky and Dobby here to walk you through everything. Dobby, there was some good, there's some bad, some stuff in between there in the middle somewhere that got muddled up. What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of?
Well, what I want to see more of is I want to see the proactivity from Travelers. Like they're doing very well. They're just not capitalizing on it. And like we saw how well they're playing from the backside. I want to know what they're going to be able to do if they have a lead and how they close out and see if it's a little bit more methodical, especially now that they have their starting 80 carry back and that Jessica Timpson is back on the bench with Gray Power Van going back into the mid lane.
Yeah, Crit back in the ADC role, Gray Power Van back in their starting role. Everything's a little bit of a return to form now for Travelers here. Question, though, is, right? 4 of these members have had time to warm up. All 5 members of Primal Instinct have had their chance to warm up. 40 minutes of warm up, as a matter of fact. Crit, though, Crit is coming right off from the bench from a power outage. Are you expecting it to play any kind of issues?
Well, I think the first 5 or 7 minutes may be a little bit of growing pains, but it's League of Legends. It's not baseball. You don't have to spend 20 minutes throwing the ball around to get yourself warmed up to make sure that your joint socket's loose. But I do see that
Finger
everyone,
sockets.
yeah, your shoulder joint, it's a joint
What
socket.
about these ones?
Those aren't. It's not the same thing. So this is a ball and socket joint. These are, I forget what they're called, levers, but like it's not the same thing.
They're fingers.
Yeah. No. The specific joint, the specific
Knuckles.
I hate you.
That's what I'm here for, Dobby.
But Travelers got rid of the Nico. They saw how good Turtle was on it. But Pip taking away the Zaya, going back to the Ahri, trying to make it a little bit more comfortable for them, as Travelers highly prioritizing this Gragas. And it looks like they're going to try and take the Ezreal away, which is also a really safe champion.
So, a little bit of a switcheroo in the old ADC rules there. Zaya switching sides, Ezreal switching sides, both safe champions. But in game 1, we did see that it was Ezreal was able to exert a little bit more lane pressure. The poke that was coming through, the safety from the Essence Flux, just keeping him so far out of range. Are you expecting that same kind of performance, or do you think this is more of a skill matchup than anything else?
I think Ezreal is just a really strong pick right now. And then, like, being able to play well into the Zaya is definitely a skill. But utilizing the E to jump in and out of everything, stay away from the charms, get out of that guaranteed engage. That's the true power behind the pick itself. And then grabbing the Syndra into the Ahri. I'm a fan of Ahri into Syndra. So a little worried here for Great Power Van, but it looks like we're going to see Midnight on the Kha'Zix instead of running it back on the Poppy.
Well, this is one I haven't seen in a hot minute here, Dobby. A lot of the junglers that we've been seeing here have been the Gragas, the Poppy, so some kind of bulkier, tankier junglers who can go in, initiate a fight, and then kind of stay in. This Kha'Zix is a much different look on that. This one, you want to jump in, burst someone, kill them, and get back out and find a new target. How are you expecting this Kha'Zix to play into this Ezreal, this Syndra, and in fact this Gragas with his disruption?
Well, if I am Pip, I'm using this next ban to get rid of the Poppy, not the Gnar. Please no, not the Gnar. Get rid of Poppy, because the Kha'Zix is gonna want to go in constantly, but that Poppy has the ability with the steadfast defiance to just negate all of that engage in there. And if I don't see that being taken away here on R4, then if I'm Travelers, I want to prioritize that pick, because it is so good into this composition. It's tanky, it's strong. The Kazakhs wants to jump around, will misplay a lot of the times, allowing you to root them into the terrain, and then just being able to get rid of it constantly would be really good. But I think in the jungle, in the current patch, assassins are king. At least in solo queue. Translating that into competitive is a completely different thing. I've seen a lot of success with Rangars recently, because Ivern is an extremely strong pick and you can flex it into 3 different lanes. So,
Yeah.
but the Kazakhs, we've only seen in the Pro Leagues recently, and that was on a patch prior to the one we're currently playing on. So we'll see how well Pip can execute.
Oh, Olaf is what's locked in here. So before we get into that top lane match, because we do see both top laners there, it feels difficult for Kazakhs in particular to find the kind of value that you want from this pick, because a lot of his damage comes from that isolation passive. In a competitive setting where everyone is in comms, it feels like it'll be a little bit harder to find those targets out on their own or far enough away from each other to have that isolation passive.
Yeah. And it's going to be extremely hard, especially now that Brahm's been locked in. You're going to see that Ezreal's constantly got this extremely tanky person on them. And if you're Kha'Zix, the last thing you want is to be hit with a stun because you are so squishy. You're just going to get beaten down pretty hard. I really like the draft coming out of Travelers right now, and a complete answer to Pip, which doesn't look like a lot of synergy so much between the Xayah Thresh, who doesn't want to really commit to these dives, and then the other 3 champions outside of the bot lane really want to go hard into their backline, which is going to be really difficult into a Braum. The Syndra has the stun, the Ezreal has all the ability to get out, and Cassante, speaking of that top lane matchup, does not do well into Olaf. The Ragnarok completely stops Cassante ultimate. The true damage goes right through a lot of these resistances that Cassante builds up. And then being able to constantly slow down with the axe over and over and over again as long as you're landing them. I really like the fact that Travelers is coming out here. They're like, hey, we finally have an answer. And they are going to show it here in the game too.
Got slows for days, CC immunity, true damage on the Olaf. And it seems so difficult for them to really fall prey to the game plan that Pip has over here, right? Because you mentioned there's 3 divers, but I look at Travelers. Braum can disrupt that dive very easily. Gragas can disrupt that dive very easily. Ezreal's great at getting away from the dive. Syndra can knock people back, put stuns down. Where's the route to success? Is it through finding their picks and trying to snowball? What is the plan here for Primal Instinct?
They're running pure pick at this point. Between the Ahri, Kha'Zix, and Thresh, the idea is to create a numbers disadvantage going into the fight, kind of similar to what Travelers was doing in the latter half of game 1, constantly creating the advantage there by killing off one of the carries. And that's what Pip's going to try and do here. But they have to get that Kha'Zix snowballing early, because if Kha'Zix is behind, it's not going to do well in this game. But Pip, I feel like they're a little confident now. They're going to play a little things outside the wheelhouse of the current meta, because they want to just be like, okay, we have the free win. We think that these are snowballing enough, and if we win here, it's great. But if we lose here, it's not bad.
Well, let's see how they decide to implement all these different tools that they have. Cassante and Kha'Zix maybe have some synergy together. Kick someone through a wall, separate them from their team. Kha'Zix can come in, help you blow that target up. And that would create the numbers disadvantage easily, but how often are you going to be able to line that up properly, get them where you want them to be for this Kha'Zix to jump in, it's just so many different pieces have to fall in line for Pip to really get where they want. And we haven't talked about this Thresh a whole lot, and I think that is one of the saving graces of this draft as well, right? This Kha'Zix can go in, take a Lantern back out, maybe get some safety there.
I think the Lantern overall is a strong pick. Thresh could do 0 damage with any of his abilities and still be picked in niche situations due to the power of the kit, right? But I think saving your R5 counter pick for Thresh is absolutely terrible, right? It's not a good support very well into Braum. You're using it for the ability that it can peel.
Right.
But just threshing it, I don't know anyone that R5s a support. If anything, like if you were gonna pick Thresh and you know you're gonna pick Thresh, just blind it. It's not bad into anything, and that means you get that top counter. So now you don't have to play Olaf into Cassante. Now you would be able to pick something good into Olaf instead of the vice versa, giving you that advantage topside. But the Thresh is kind of bothersome to me at this point in the game. Just because there are other.
It's not Yuumi.
You're right. It's not Yuumi, and there are worse things out there than Thresh. And it's not overall bad because you can't really go engage, but there are other good champions out there with Desire that could do well. I don't know why no one wants to play Rel. I understand that the Braum is really good into it. You could play Janna. She has been an extreme powerhouse, one of the most powerful supports on the current patch. And it would augment a lot of the damage that you were doing as Kha'Zix and as Zion. You'd be able to help peel for her, especially since they want to go in. The Renata they were hovering earlier, also good options. There are just so many things they could have gone here, and I think Thresh is just the safe choice, not the best choice.
Well, we haven't had a whole lot of time to talk about this mid lane matchup, right? You mentioned that you don't like this Syndra going into the Ahri. You usually prefer it the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thought process on that?
Well, the Ahri just has so many dashes and movement speed and able to like weave in and out that the Syndra's true will isn't going to be as wow, I forget the word. It's not concrete.
Consistent?
Yes, thank you. As the ability going through, and if the Syndra is ever caught out, she doesn't have that same mobility, so if she's hit with the charm, then she is going to die. That Kha'Zix is going to jump in, the Ahri's going to be able to hit her with the true damage. It's just going to do so much damage. The Syndra, I think, is a safe pick. It's good. It will scale well with the rest of the team. I just think that the Ahri does very well into it, and it is extremely strong. So it looks like Powervan countered himself, but we'll see how it plays out here in the lane as we go into game 2.
As like we always say, only one way to see how it all shakes down, that is play on the Rift. Cut into a short break, we'll get into game. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. Game number 2 starts right here, right now, and it starts the 5-man grouping. A flash comes out, doesn't quite find the slow. That is a little bit said and done for just about nothing up there, Dobby.
Yeah, it's pretty rough there for them. Flashing for free, not getting anything off of it. But there are worse things that could happen.
Yeah, they could have all 5 flashed.
Fair enough.
that would have been tragic.
But they are doing, but now this is very good for the side of Pip. They now have a focus to go to on this bot side. Yes, it's still into the Braum, but he is flashless. So this is where I expect him to go. We see Midnight going top side. He's definitely going to be pathing down. Stro doing the same, going top, but in the reverse, going top side.
Oh, gonna have a little different start each one here. Now, given what we're looking at in the jungle, right? You probably want to see some early aggression coming out from Midnight. He is an assassin. You want to make use of that damage before people start grouping up too much. What are you expecting these ganks and counter ganks to look like here in the early game?
Well, I mean, you see bot side immediately getting that Primal. They know that the Meeps doesn't have his flash, so it's really easy to get that Primal down there, even with the Gragas there. Maybe Gragas sees that there's this advantage and goes for something, even though that the Pip is warding. But overall, it's very difficult to do anything. If the bot side of Pip does very well into this 2v2 and gets all this pressure, that means Kha'Zix's presence bot lane isn't going to be necessary. And then, but we see that everyone's pretty much evenly matched as we go from here on.
Okay. Now, even if Midnight's presence isn't necessary, you still kind of want to see him doing something, right? Because he is an assassin, right? You can sit in the jungle and farm all day if you want to. But that's not really where these assassins really shine. You want them taking out these key targets. And I don't see him going up to try to deal with Svoboda, right? Olaf is not high on my list of priorities to gank, just because I usually feel like if I try to go up there, he's going to kill someone. So are we looking maybe towards this immobile Syndra in the mid lane as well?
I would probably try to do something of that nature.
Oh.
But we see this bot side going on. You got the flash on the refresh.
Lantern comes through. Does not quite find the flay, but the death sentence does connect. May not be much of a death sentence, though. Crit still alive despite the ignite coming through there. Not a lot said and done down there.
Yeah, really good that they were able to survive without having to burn any summoners. Getting Midnight to show down there, which will allow Stro to finish off his clear, securing, getting his full clear off and then backing as well. But Hurdle just landing everything and then jumping in on Ezreal. Just
he's looking for a little bit more flay. Connect, knocks one back. Meeps goes down for the first blood. Nutty One looking for one more shot. Does find it. It's a double kill now for Primal Instinct Purple there in the bot lane.
yeah, Crit utilizing his E to jump in there. Like the shift was just so bad trying to poke the Thresh, and for what reason? Giving off a double kill to Nutty One on this early game doesn't bode well for Travelers. They need to have this early game lead. They need to start building it over so that they can close it out a lot better instead of having to play from behind. But here we are, 5 minutes in the game, already 1,000 gold back, and this is where I would put all of my focus. If I am Pip, I would spend all of my time bot lane, constantly 4-man diving this bot lane tower, doing everything to keep Crit behind and getting Nutty One ahead.
Well, there is some opportunity here for the Travelers. Both flashes down the side of Pip's bot lane there. No flash for Turtle, no ignite for Turtle either. Nutty One will be relying just on the cleanse for safety for right now. Before they hit level 6, there's not a whole lot this Xayah can do to get out of danger. They're really just relying on Turtle down there. Do you think that this is the time for Stro to make a rotation of their own and try to capitalize on this?
My decision making on that is split 50-50. The bot side is so far ahead on the side of Pip that I would not feel safe going down there as the jungler. And I would want to play towards the winning lanes. But there is an argument to be made is like, hey, we're behind, we need help, we need you here to support us. But like, yes, Nutty One only has the cleanse, but that Blade Caller still provides a lot of self-peel, and Midnight is still hovering down here, especially with that dragon of already being spawned.
Gene online for crit against the Noon Quiver. Midnight now looking for a little bit of aggression onto Stro. Does have some help from the mid laners, but up in top there's a small skirmish as well. It's just small blows being traded across the board. You can see where the team's heads are at. Primal Instinct, they want to push this a little bit more. They have themselves an early lead, and they were able to get a lot done with the lead in game number 1. Let it go a little bit as the game went on, but were eventually able to close that out. I think you can tell from the gameplay, they don't want to let it go that long again.
No, and they're playing a lot cleaner and faster here in this game, as they're constantly pressuring the jungle as they're going through here.
Abe's just not able to land those shield bashes, unfortunately. He's not getting those marks online, not going to be finding any slows or stuns. Things not going super well for the bot lane right now. And it's leading to an invade on this red buff here. 3 members strong. Death Sentence connects onto Stro. He's gone in a heartbeat. Blink it and you'll miss. Isolation damage will do that to you.
Yeah, and that just leads it right into the first dragon for Pip as well. They're, without that Gragas online, not able to do anything. Turtle rotating mid, trying to grab Great Power Band, burning out his flash in the process. As Turtle is just constantly providing so much pressure in both these games so far.
He's still in that mid lane too. He's hiding behind those raptors, trying to find any window of opportunity. It's not going to come to him because it's going to be a back from Crave Power Van. Delayed back after Turtle steps up a little bit further there. I mean, it just doesn't feel like Primal Instinct is allowing the Travelers to breathe at all here.
No, they're absolutely suffocating here in game 2. Having to immediately burn that teleport to get back in the lane so you're not even further behind Harry Huki. Nutty One doing great work in that counter matchup, right? Like, so last game, Nutty was on the Ezreal into Great Power Van's Xayah, and in this game, he's playing the Xayah and winning into that matchup. So he's winning both sides of this bot lane matchup here. Just dominating in the bot lane.
I mean, already Kraken online for Nutty One as well. I mean, more attack speed, more damage, crit chance on top of it. This is getting a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, 9 minutes in, he's the first one done with a full item. It is dangerous, especially with Turtle constantly roaming out. And this is the same issue I had in game 1. Neeps is not matching these roams, trying to do something, but like not getting any advantage done. You see him rotating now, but it's just extremely late.
Yes, there's a rotation happening up in the top lane here. Great Power Van ends up here as a result of being chased all the way up. Turtle is still in the area as well, and Turtle is just not allowing anyone to go anywhere and safely reset. This constant threat of a hook coming out and just stopping your back and pulling you into a bad spot. It's weighing heavily on the Travelers. You can see it in the way that they're moving around the map. Oops. Does find, finally, a little bit of damage, but no follow-up means that the Winter's Bite just does nothing. And now here comes Turtle up in top lane, forcing the Ragnarok out. That is a big dive under the tower. Barb trades a life for a life. Last tower shot finally does repay the favor.
That was 93% clean on the side of Barbie. Even the flash lantern to get away, but too bad you were still taking all that turret damage, and it stacks. You weren't gonna live through that without a heal. But like other than that, denying Savoda the win there in the 1v1, like this is really good for Cassante. Like you're not supposed to win the matchup. So being able to not only be ahead, but trade kill for kill, like extremely good for them. Really good.
Yeah, and once again, it comes down to Turtle's presence up there. Him finding the death sentence, forced Svoboda to just go into that Ragnarok and start backing away because it was 2v1. It's just such an awkward position to be in, and it really feels like Traveler needs to keep some kind of presence on top of Turtle here. Otherwise, he's just going to slip away from them.
Yeah, and it's very hard to get presence on him because they're letting Pip have these safe AD carries that can do well in the 1v2. If they want to have any answer for Wild Turtle, they're going to have to ban some really AD carries out there other than just the Kaisa. Just because of the amount of power that Turtle is affecting.
And now it's a little bit more aggression here from Svoboda, trying to push Barbie under that tower, but now the rotation is coming through as well from Midnight. Ragnarok has already been expended. There's nowhere for him to go. Isolated once again in the bush. Midnight gets yet another kill on this Kha'Zix. 2-0 now is the jungler.
Yeah, it's nights out for Voda up there, and like the fact that Midnight is doing well on the Kha'Zix, out damaging, out rotating Stro and Gragas, and this is the second Gragas game in a row. You would expect to be a little bit more cleaner going into game 2, but Pip just making sure he's not able to do anything. Like the closest of game 1 is not existing here in game 2.
Now this lead is already extending to about 4,500, the 13-minute mark. 5-1 in favor of Primal Instinct, and they've certainly awakened their instincts here. They are on the prowl, to say the least. Keep an eye on that river as well. Grouping of 3 members of PIP all around that dragon. Teleport up in top, and Barbie's not going to be there. It also means Svoboda isn't going to be there either. No teleport for him. This dragon is just going to go down for free. 2 now with Primal Instinct.
Yeah, Primal Instinct needed to get rid of that dragon off the map as soon as possible. Travelers would never feel safe to get it, and not a lot of people want the Cloud Dragon, but just being able to deny it's really good. And it is going to be Ocean Soul, so if whichever team is able to secure the soul of this is definitely gonna control the game pace a lot better. And we see that Pip is going to stack those in 2. And if they get the soul, that it's game over with that next dragon.
Yeah, wow. A bit of an ult comes out there in top lane. Shows fires off the explosive cask, not finding really any value on it. Just pushes Barbie really further to safety there. It's starting to feel like Travelers are losing their way a little bit. They held on for 40 minutes in game 1 and ultimately lost. Here in game 2, things are looking a lot sloppier, a lot earlier on. I mean, that ult from Shro, not characteristic of his gameplay so far.
No, it reeked of like, hey, I just need to make a play. Like near desperation, I gotta do something, and it didn't pan out. And in my experience, game 2s of a best of series are always the hardest to win after you've already lost the game 1.
Yeah.
You got that mental deficit, the exhaustion setting in, and the breaks, they're not taking their full breaks if they can utilize.
I have to hold a thought here. Big engagement. Ragnarok comes through, but Midnight has joined the fray. Immediately takes him down, but Gray Power Van is also on the rotation, looking for a little bit more and finds the ultimate. The unleashed power finally gets some damage done, but now it's the double kill for Midnight. Can they find a way out of this one with 3 members of Primal Instinct here? I don't think there's a world in which he survives. Gray Power Van gets shut down, left on the side of the road, and Midnight crawls out.
Yeah, really good run from Pip.
Wait,
they brought up their bot lane just because the Rift Herald was going to spawn here soon. Able to cash in on that roam.
Eeps, I don't think realizes how close to danger he was on that one. Does get away, keeps his life for now. Crit in the area, does go over the wall. Stun is good on a turtle, but a stopwatch avoids the true shot barrage. Ultimate comes out from Meat, but the TP comes in. Haruki finds an Everfrost and just burns him right on down. Finally able to answer one back. Stro fires a gasket over the wall. Gets a kill. I just don't know that it's worth it at this point.
Well, if you're trading kill for kill, it's worth it on the side of Travelers, just because it's a gold influx. But walking alone, constantly, yeah, they're not playing with the same confidence and gravitas they were in game 1. I feel like losing that 40-minute game did terrible things to their mental.
Yeah, I mean that's
so close to winning it, and that last team fight where they were just all going in one at a time, and it kind of is reminiscent of what's happening here. Look at this, we're just walking in one at a time into this team fight.
Midnight is here, Turtle is here. What was a 1v1 has become a 2v3. Neep's on his way, but it's too little, too late. There's no way for him to get down. Death sentence from downtown gives Midnight a double kill. Slow is good. Meeps probably nowhere to go. Flash avoids the death sentence from Turtle. As it comes through, the box comes out just to make sure that the Midnight can still survive, but is still looking for a fight. Ignite comes through on Stro, and who is here but Haruki from the mid lane. Spirit rushing in, Spirit rushing down, looking for crit. Flash is good, and it's just a full ace at 18 minutes. The rotations from Primal Instinct have come through.
Yeah, this is turning into a stomp. 11K at 18 minutes. Like, I don't know what happened in that post game in between that break, but like, Travelers need to reset here. They need to like mentally disregard everything happening from this point on in this game and start hashing out a game plan. Like stall as long as you can until you find an effective strategy. But this game 2 is definitely going way of Pip.
Yeah, it's gonna take some serious comeback potential at this rate. 13K now. Okay, just under 13K, but let's not mince numbers here, Dobby. This deficit is a mountain right now. Meeps is wandering the map, it feels like, looking for anywhere he can have some kind of impact. And from that, you can see that the effect it's having, right? There's no impact being made whatsoever. Barbie is going to walk away from the 1v4, actually walk back into the 1v4 because Midnight is here, Turtle is here, Haruki is here. All of Primal Instinct just simply show up when they are needed. Spirit Rush just runs circles around this Syndra and full pedal to the metal from here. Explosive cast sends the Primal Instinct closer to Travelers, and that's gonna wrap this fight up. There's nowhere for them to go. Another double kill, triple kill for Midnight. Simply cleans it up. It's a second ace. How many minutes has it been, Dobby? That's 2 aces in 2 minutes?
Yeah, you got your wish though. You got that 13K gold lead. But it looks like they're just transitioning that every one of their leads. They're just pedal to the metal here, going hard as they can, and then Travelers just has no answer. every little play they're trying to make is costing them each one of their lives over and over again. Um, there's little for them to be done. Going to this game, they could barely keep it in 8K behind, and now we're sitting at almost 15K at 20 minutes. It's very difficult for what's going to be happening.
So I gotta ask, Dobby, right? What even was the play there from Travelers? Okay, we send 4 top lane to take this tier 1 tower. Maybe we try to kill Barbie. Okay, well, we took too much damage, so now we have to settle for the tower. Don't have vision on the rest of Primal Instinct. So they're just kind of grouping up to be rotated on. Like, it doesn't even feel like a significant play was being attempted there.
What I would do on the side of Travelers is I would just go for the objective bounty. I don't care about Barbie. I care about that tower. Barbie's gonna respawn. That thing won't. Especially since Barbie's so far ahead, I know I'm not gonna kill him. And how they went about trying to kill him was layering. Or they weren't even layering the ultimate properly. They were just one at a timing it.
That is just massive damage. Like, it's just more of the same here, Dobby. I'm not sure why Travelers are trying to walk in and have a 5-on-5 contested fight. We've seen the way it goes time and time again. And this is just the cleanup phase.
Travelers just doesn't know what to do at this point. So they're just running in, hoping that Pip is gonna outplay. But this is just, it's like he's healing the Cassante at this point.
And the thing is, this is not a bad team, Travelers. They are 7-2 in their division. They had a great record, but right now, things just feel like they're falling apart for them. Is it the pressure of the playoffs? Is it the loss of the 40-minute game 1? It's hard to say. But this doesn't appear to be typical of Travelers. They're struggling right now, and they need to find that lifeline.
Well, this doesn't feel like Travelers. This definitely looks like Pip. Like, Primal Instinct have been so dominant, and like almost at the same aspect that Solberg has been, constantly destroying their enemy opponents and not letting anything happen that like would lose them these series.
Did we just turn League of Legends into a horror game? That was a straight up jump scare. Am I playing Alien Isolation right now? They just
you may not be, but Crit is.
Well, that is another big chunk of damage. Why are you going back in, Svoboda? Legendary is Midnight because we are just simply walking in. Double kill. Can he find a triple? Can he find a quadra kill? There's only one more. Can you make it the penta? 5 for Midnight at the end of the game. Gets himself a pentakill equal to the number of kills that Traveler has total.
Yeah, extremely clean game from them, finishing it in half the time. Primal Instinct showing why they were first place in Group B and showing why they're going to be a contender going into finals. And I mean, the only thing we could hope for Travelers is for a reverse sweep here to even like keep this, but it is going to be extremely hard. You barely lost game 1. You got destroyed in game 2. I don't know how you have to reset in order to make those things not affect you going into what could possibly be the last game of your season.
Well, at this point, I think the only thing the Travelers can do is completely wipe the slate. There was no game 2. There was no game 1. This is the start of their series right here, right now, and they're looking to 3-0 Primal Instinct. That's the only way they can approach this if they want to salvage that mental.
That is a good point, and hopefully we can see it going to this next game because they've got a lot to work on.
We'll see if they can work on it and what improvements they will make. Lesson learned, hopefully a victory gained. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Well, we are finally here, Dobby. Game number 3. The first game for Travelers. The last game for Primal Instinct. It all comes down to this one. Can Travelers keep themselves alive and pull themselves back into this best of 5 set? Starts from the picks and bans. So far, we're not seeing a whole lot of differentiation from the first 2 games.
No,
I don't know if that's a mistake or not.
Well, there's not a lot of things to ban out except for the Nico. That was the only true problem that we've seen so far. But we're running it back to the game 1 drafts, and if I'm Pip at this point, I'll just blue 1 the Nico again, and because it works so well. And I think at this point, Travelers really messed up unless they have a good answer to it. But like you said, like, this is the beginning or the end of this series for them.
A few different picks being looked at here. I mean, all have done well, but it is the Nico that gets settled on. Now, the question is, do you expect that we'll see more from this Kha'Zix that Midnight was running? It looked fantastic in game number 2. Unstoppable, as a matter of fact. Legendary, even, I believe, was what we saw at the end there. Do you think that was just a problem that was caused through the gameplay, or do you think that they need to prepare for that here in game 3?
I don't think they respected it enough. And then the Kha'Zix knew what he needed to do, and it was just to play away from the bot side. Because the Braum is strong and can CC him, but Meep's having problems landing those concussing blows, and then not being able to CC stun that Kha'Zix led to them having a lot of issues here. But we see Travelers coming out with completely new picks. The Ornn and Zyra, and seeing how they integrate it into their game plan will be valuable here.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about this one. I will say I think Zyra's CC is easier to hit, right? You don't have to charge up stacks to get the immobilizing effect. You just grasping roots, boom, you're done. Very long range, kind of wonky hitbox if you're asking me. Summons those plants as well to get some extra slow, so it's a very easy to use this Zyra. But man, like, is it enough to slow down this Nico, to find them any kind of pressure on the map? Because we constantly saw Turtle roaming across the map, finding some kind of impact in different lanes, where Meeps was a lot slower to make his rotations, and by the time they started, things are too far gone, Matt.
Yeah, it was just a rough game too. But we see Pip getting a good answer into the Ornn, the Olaf, grabbing the Ashe, and the Ashe is just such a really strong pick here right now. And I don't really like the Zeri pick either, but maybe Travelers see something that I don't see in every solo queue game ever. So hopefully it works out for him here.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this Ornn, right? Because you mentioned there's a counter pick come through that Olaf can do pretty good damage. And Ornn's big thing is survivability, durability, sustain in the fight, just being a constant nuisance. If he's up against this Olaf, who has access to true damage, who can kind of pressure him a little bit more, do you think Svoboda is going to run into some problems here?
I think Svoboda isn't there to win the lane. He's there to survive the lane. What you want is to just get to those artifacts and do what you can and help the rest of the team survive long enough to let it happen. What you have a lot of issues, though, is that the Olaf is an aggressive player. It isn't going to be locked down with a lot of that CC once level 6 comes up. So the Ornn should be winning the 1 through 5, and the Olaf should be dominating post the 6. You have a lot of mobility on the Olaf that the Ornn doesn't normally have, especially with those axes being CC'd. But Travelers grabbing the Kha'Zix, taking it away for Midnight here. hoping to see the light themselves here and put a cloud over Pip's game 3.
That's a little bit surprising to me. I mean, obviously, Midnight had a great game on it, but I was not expecting to just get picked by the Travelers. I thought maybe a ban, maybe a counter pick would get picked up here. I guess this is now a question of how comfortable is Stro on the Kha'Zix? How much success can he have on this? I look over at this team comp. Ashe is a nice target. If this Braum gets locked in, bot lane maybe not so pleasant to go towards. Maybe we'll see this Nico in a different role here.
Yeah, it looks like here Uki is going to be playing it here in the mid lane with that Braum hover coming up. So which is going to be a completely different aspect of it. But I don't really like the Braum into a Zyra. Like, yes, you're not going to die, but you're not going to facilitate any team kills either. Just because the plants themselves are really good at crowd controlling, and they will eat up most of your concussive stacks. Unless we see the Rel being locked and then the Zyra going mid, and I think that's what's happening here in game number 3.
I haven't seen a Zyra mid in ages.
Since
Dobby.
like season 2? When Zyra was... I don't remember when Zyra came to League of Legends, but that was the last time I saw her mid lane. Like, it was what, like, Cloud9 in their debut season, they're like, no, Zyra's a support, and she's been like that for a decade.
Yeah. This is crazy, actually. I'm excited for it. I love seeing Zyra go back to being in mid lane. Stop taking my champions support role, please. So this is great to me. But how does it fare against the Nico? How does it fare in that role now?
I'll be honest, I have zero clue. Zyra mids, like I said, I haven't seen it in forever. And then I think it might be good at controlling some aspect of the Nico coming in, but like a lot of Nico's power doesn't come from the dueling or winning the mid lane. It comes from affecting the other lanes. It's just really weird to see it in here, but I think they have a lot of potential doing a lot of damage in the 5v5. Like the Nico would be able to get your backline, but the Zyra is able to get their backline. So maybe it's a good answer in that aspect, but this is going to definitely be a spicy game 3, and I hope the unexpected draft picks coming out of Travelers is good enough to give them the win, because after that game 2, they need it.
Yeah, this feels to me like a all-out kind of strategy, right? We're down to the wire. Travelers have gotten their backs pressed up against the wall. They came out of a really bad game 2. Now they're just pulling out the things they like, their comfort picks. They're playing what they want to play here. That's what this Zyra screams to me here. And it's just a matter of how well are they going to execute it. They look over at Primal Instinct, and they have a pretty nasty composition over here, right? Pop Blossom is massive. Lee Sin, great at diving targets, taking them out. Same with Olaf, loves to run at people. You've got Ashe and Braum for the CC. How does this Kha'Zix even begin to find success against this team?
Well, I mean, the Kha'Zix is just gonna be, you gotta do the same thing that Pip did to you. Don't focus on the bot side so much, because you know the Braum's gonna be really strong, and you just don't want to get CC locked like that. So try to go for the 1v1s. I think you do very well into Lee Sin, and the fact that you just go top. You layer what you need to layer, and you do the damage you need to do. But like this composition just looks disjointed, but maybe that's what Travelers needs. They have the ability to just like Lee Sin falls off. The Olaf is gonna fall off. And as long as he doesn't get to restack the ultimate, and the Zyra has the ability to keep them out of team fights indefinitely. And then if you're able to utilize that and layer it with the Rel and Ornn, Zeri might be able to do a lot of damage, and she has the mobility to basically self-peel. So this could be the game that Travelers needs to get back into and start the reverse sweep.
There is a lot of CC on the side of Travelers, and what I'm looking at most is it's some pretty good non-DRable CC, right? Ornn ult into Zyra ult, not getting diminishing returns on those knockups, add in the Rel pulling people in on top of it. You definitely can get a lot of damage off onto a group of people quickly. Thing is, though, I mean, if you're pulling people in, they're not isolated, so Kha'Zix won't be getting that bonus damage. So he's probably looking for whoever you didn't grab in that CC.
Right.
It just feels like such an odd combination of champions and abilities. And I'm trying to piece together like how these fights play out. But that's not what I'm here for. That's what you're here for.
Right. So for Travelers, the way I see it is that like the rest of the team wants the team fight, and Kha'Zix is the janitor. That's the guy that will clean up the team fight, go for those isolated turrets. The Magnastort from Rel is going to do a lot. And if you layer that with the Ornn and Zyra ultimates as well, you're not going to have any moving or mobility coming out of the side of Pip, which will allow the Zeri to free hit as her passive and ultimate are stacked up, and the Kha'Zix just comes in there, free hits any stragglers, cleans up the team fights, goes in at that point to go secure objectives and hopefully winning the game. It's a little bit more nuanced, but it seems to be a clearer picture of how they want the team fight to go out versus Pip, which is I need to go in constantly every time, which is what Travelers wants you to do.
See? Clean and simple. Just win the fight, clean up afterwards. That's all Travelers have to do to win the game. Well, let's see if they could put that into practice from the papers. This is their last chance at continuing their playoff run. Get yourselves something to tide you over for this one, because it's going to be a good game. We'll be right back. All right, folks, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Down to the wire. This is the game that makes or breaks a team's playoff run here. Pips, Primal Instinct Purple over on the blue side this time. Up against, for potentially the last time, Travelers on the red. Dobby, this has been a back and forth match so far. Game 1, very close, hotly contested throughout the entire 43 minutes of that run. Game 2, much faster, 23 minutes, and Primal Instinct was in control of the entire thing. They're looking to repeat that performance here. Question is, will Travelers let them do it? I can't imagine they'll go down easy. This has to be one hell of a fight for both sides.
Well, I hope that it doesn't go down easy, but we see right here, right off the fact, an invade coming in right at the level 1, forcing Stroh's flash out of there, immediately taking control of the game here in game 3. Pip not letting their foot off the pedal, asserting dominance, and Stroh having to answer in kind, going to his bot side, but it looks like he's trying to go for the vertical jungle here and taking away Midnight's red side.
I like the plan here. Try to get something back in return, but keep an eye on that mid lane. Midnight is there as well, already getting active, putting some pressure down Gray Power Van, which means he's also heading down the river. And what is Stroh doing so far? He hasn't collected a single camp. He abandoned the red buff invade, and now he's trying to get his way over to the blue buff. Meanwhile, in top lane, both laners are low. So far, this already feels like it's swinging in favor of Primal Instinct.
Yeah, Stroh is very behind at this point, unable to secure that vertical jungle, and Midnight just going from one buff straight to the second, not letting him do anything. It's very difficult for him here. But it's starting to be a little bit of a jungle gap here, as they say in solo queue.
Turtle also finds some success down here in the bot lane as well, landing very, very clean Winter's Bites onto the enemy duo lane.
Yeah,
that was one thing we didn't see a whole lot of in Game 2 when it was just piloted by Meeps.
I feel like we've already seen more Winter's Bites landed in the first 3 minutes of this game, coming from the side of Turtle. It seems that Meeps without Bard is a player who cannot seem to have proficiency on these other supports. I mean, he does good, very well, but like here against like this team, it's just not showing itself.
Yeah, they are up against a very difficult team to fight against, right? Primal Instinct, I believe their record was 8-1 the normal season, so not undefeated, but pretty damn close to that.
Yeah,
and they're showing why they had that kind of dominant record here in their playoff runs. They're looking to make this one clean. They don't want any more 43-minute games, especially after they just tasted sweet victory at 23.
Yeah, they're so close to winning the series and punching their ticket into the finals. But they still have a long game to play ahead of them, but they're showing their proficiency in their macro play and their team coordination that they're not going to make it easy for Travelers.
Yeah, I think the biggest key point here is they're still showing discipline. You know, a lot of players, once you reach this point in your playoff series, you know, things get a little bit lax, feeling good, just thinking, okay, we're already there, to punch the ticket a little bit early. Not the case with Primal Instinct. They are maintaining pressure, they're maintaining clean play. They understand that the Travelers also has a record to be wary of. This is a team that can take a lot out of you. And I think maybe Game 1 really put a lot of respect for Travelers into Primal Instinct. They're being a lot more careful about how they approach this.
Yeah, because Travelers did end the season at 7-2.
Yeah.
they're a strong team. They just have to go to those strengths that made them such a powerhouse and play to them. In the first game they tried, in the second game it doesn't look like they were. It doesn't look like they were cohesive in what they were doing. And
Now?
here we go into game 3. Like, every lane is behind except for the bot, but they're just even. There's no lead coming out on the side of Travelers.
It's a dangerous position for them to be in. You take a look at the junglers as well. Midnight already has the Iron Spike Whip online. He's got a tier 2 item, while Stro is still just working to combine these long swords together. That's transitioning into an early dragon being looked at here. Infernal Drake, first one on the map. There's a lot of presence from Primal Instinct around here, and there's not going to be a response from Travelers. They understand that they're just not in position right now to try to fight this.
They have no prio in any of their waves. This is Midnight's map at this point. Travelers have no response. They have no ability to do anything.
Oh boy. That is going to be first blood going the way of Primal as well. Right, Power Van gets caught by the Pop Blossom. Midnight's there to collect himself a kill. And I think that's possibly the worst person you want to see with the first blood bounty at this point in the game.
I don't know. I kind of would want it on Lee Sin over anyone else besides, Braum, because the Lee Sin does fall off. So if you're not just giving him kill after kill, then it just going on Lee Sin is almost meaningless. Because as you transition to late game, the champion itself isn't as strong.
This kid's kill should allow him to start looking for a few more here. I expect to see him getting a lot more active, especially with being ahead of Stro right now. Midnight, level 5. Probably getting closer to level 6 by the moment here. If he gets his ultimate online first, then you can expect to see him in a lane trying to get active. Stro's not going to take that quietly either. You can see him lurking around, searching for any opportunity, but the ward coverage is just not allowing it.
Yeah, I think that once Midnight hits 6, he'll probably go back to the mid lane again. Just because there's so much guaranteed CC pairing his abilities up with Haruki's that you're just going to get a lot of value, but it looks like he's just transitioning that into the immediate Rift Herald.
Oh, I don't hate that either, right? Because if you are Midnight and you're looking to snowball this game, you already have about a 1,500 gold lead. You want to try to extend that as much as possible, right? Herald does a really good job of collecting those plates for you and collecting some easy extra gold.
Yeah, you'll get at least 2 plates worth. Well, you'll get at least 1, but if you're doing it right, 2. Sorry, my assistant woke up.
Yeah, every now and then that'll happen.
You want
An eye on this river here. Some rotations happening towards the bot side. Turtle and Haruki both on their way over there. Haruki taking the appearance of Midnight. Let's give a little bit of a false clue as to where the jungler may be at. Running in, looking for the dive under the tower. Pop Blossom comes up, does connect onto Meeks. The crit avoids the worst of it. Over the wall he goes, looking to answer some damage back in. Meeks looking to try to lock someone down under that tower, but Turtle is the main target. Stro over the wall. Finally, they find one. Exhaust comes through. Stro flashes back to safety for now. That is a 1-for-1 in the bot lane. Both supports go down. The Midnight, the actual jungler, has reappeared in the bot lane, looking for Stro, looking for the dive. Herald on board, looking to try to put some damage down. And that gold should favor Primal Instinct at the end of things here.
Shush.
Eye on Midnight, still lurking in that river. May look to pincer for a power van. Doesn't look like we're going to see too much of that here. All in all, not bad.
It wasn't too bad. But like, you're showing the power of the Nico there. Like, just by utilizing the W.
Uh-oh, keep an eye on bot lane here. Midnight maybe looking for another little exchange here, but doesn't quite get what he was looking for. Oh, he gets CC'd under the tier 1 tower. That's a risky dive there, my friend. And it's gonna cost you your life. So much lockdown. But Meeps is gonna be answered back. It's a support for a jungler. Still does favor Traveler, I'd say.
Yeah, especially now that they're picking up the kill onto Haruki there. That's really good play from them. Just being able to, like, hey, you're only getting the kill on the support, traded it onto the jungler, getting that kill on the mid lane, showing that, like, hey, they have the power to answer back. I wish they would translate that into some plates here, especially since they're starting to lose this. The lead isn't as large as it was last game. But they need to stem the bleeding. They need to be able to control this a little bit more and get some gold into their pockets outside of pick and back.
Yeah. They really can't afford to have a lead like they did last time. That kind of deficit just should not be happening this early in the game. So good to see they've kind of recovered that mental a bit, pull things back. Great power van, running some interference on Midnight, trying to keep him from stepping up to this dragon, but from downtown, the Crystal Arrow connects straight onto Crit, and Turtle comes in from behind, finds a massive ult. Now it's a complete rout. Midnight slays Crit, puts the ADC down. There's no burn anymore. Now they're running down Stro, trying to take him off the board as well. 2 for 1 so far as Haruki is taken down a notch or two. The power van being looked at, not committed onto. Meeps to drive him away. Turtle also being targeted out. Swoboda getting very low. There's caught between 3, nowhere to go. This is a complete disaster for Travelers. It started off so well, but it ends with a 3 for 1.
Yeah, Barbie on the roam there, getting to the bot lane, knowing the importance of this dragon, absolutely turned the tide of that fight there. Just being able to come in, pressure Traveler.
Crit in a bad spot here. Meeps also getting blasted away. Good lord, the damage. And you can't run from that one. Midnight just tracks him down. Follows him with a dash, hops over the wall back to his team. Has 2 more easy kills for Primal Instinct Purple.
Yeah, sitting at 5k gold lead here on the side of Pip. You got Ripped Herald spawning in a minute. You still have plates for the next 30 seconds. There's a lot of gold to be had here for them to, in order to, like, keep snowballing this lead, because Pip want this to be over and they want to enjoy the rest of their weekend.
And now we're starting to see signs of that game 2 here, right? 5,000 gold lead at almost 14 minutes. This is not the best position to be in. Ragnarok not going to find any value thanks to Axe missing there. And Stro is here. Meeps is here. They're looking to turn this into a pick. Barbie has to flash, but has no Ragnarok, no CC immunity. Get away. And one finally goes down. Teleport coming in. Midnight coming in as well. Dash comes on in. Haruki looks for the pop. Blossom hits 3. Locks them all down. And here comes the rest of them. Whoa. Turtle gets a kill. And it may be the next one going down as well. Meeps falls. Midnight 5, 1, and 4 on this Lee Sin. You said you want to see kill after kill being fed to him. Well, he is getting them.
Yeah, and it looks like he's about to be getting another one. Power Van just staying up here all alone for no reason. But he's finally backing off, respecting the team here, but they're going to get that outer turret.
Oh, goodness. Kick. Oh, just
That
disaster. Gray sticks around way too long. Stro does find an answer back. Midnight goes down, but it's Meep who gets the kill. It is the support who finds it. Nothing for the jungler. He has to just run away and try to get out of dodge. So much damage. Primal Instinct, they're just not afraid of anything right now. These towers are not a deterrent. They're just extra gold.
Yeah, they're just running over travelers at this point. And then Midnight being so clean on that Lee Sin, a beautiful insect play, translating a little aggressive there, but it doesn't look like he's missing any of those Qs landing on the Traveler champions.
No, it's just no answer once again from Travelers, right? They try to make a play, and then they see a teleport come in. Okay, well, let's stick around and try to catch them. Oh, unfortunately, Turtle's coming up, right? And they just position themselves to be caught by a 3-man pop blossom. That's what really turned that south for Travelers. If they hadn't been caught like that, they'd probably get out of that no problem. They walk away with a kill.
Yeah,
and instead, they just keep giving more gold away to Primal Instinct.
Yeah, like it started off so good. They got the pick off, and they just couldn't like get the next one. They couldn't kill Haruki fast enough before he managed to get that pop off.
I'm gonna try to find something here onto Barbie. Does finally give them a kill. They're losing a lot for it. Harold up in mid lane, gonna be taken down. This tier 1, no problem. Likely to get another second hit onto this tier 2 as well. With 3-4 members, Primal Instinct here. I just don't see a way that Travelers can stop this Herald before it does its work, and there it is.
Yeah, they have no answer. Like they're getting these kills, but at what cost? It's just costing the rest of the map. 6,500 gold behind. You're only getting 1 kill, losing a tower and a half every time. It's not a good trade.
You know what I really want to see right now?
What's that?
I want to see Haruki's damage numbers. That's what I would love to see. Because every time Haruki is throwing out any ability, it is just chunking people down, especially Meeps, who's supposed to be a tank, by the way. He just can't do that job.
He's doing good work, especially since he's not limited to the support build path. So he's able to farm, get that damage, and be able to do it. And it's a little shame he's not farming a little bit better, because he'd be at his second item by now, but he's still doing lots of damage, and he's doing work for the team fights. Yeah. Travelers trying to get any gold they can with those objective bounties up, overloading the top side. They'll probably try and kill Barbie here again, because he just walked up there with no turret.
Yeah, Sho is very eager to find that kill. They are going to put a lot of damage out. Burned a couple ultimates here for it. They lost the tower themselves in that mid lane. It's going to be full reset. Make sure they don't lose anything else, but 1 tower, 1 kill. You lose out on Dragon and a tower. Probably going to be 2 towers going down here, but Svoboda cannot stop them here. Lots of damage coming out. Meeps is in the area as well, just making sure that Svoboda stay alive here. Yeah, whole fight as well. This turtle gets caught. Exhaust onto crit is not going to stop that damage. Tro looks a little bit more, but recognizes the distance between them means no kill potential there.
Yep. Good that they were able to get the shutdown onto Turtle, but if only they were able to get Nutty Ones, that would do a lot to get them back into this game. Still down that 5,000, and we gotta, but they were able to secure the dragon before they lost Turtle. And oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness! Oh, Haruki's so close to turning that around, but Shro should now have an opportunity to find that shutdown. There it is! Midnight by himself, but Barbie has come to play, puts a ton of damage down, double kill for the top laner. We put all that time into shutting him down, just for him to walk back up. Midnight, now the target. The turtle is doing a great job of stopping some of that damage. Crit, very low. Midnight looking for a way to get back into that ADC, but he cannot find a path to him. Boda leading the charge. Should be a disengage now from both sides. Over the wall. It was crit.
We saw Haruki TPing here now. Setting up and getting a flank here. Any type of CC hits.
Not gonna do it. Stun comes out on Haruki. Stops the aggression. That's really what we needed to see from Travelers. Like, what changed there so quickly?
Well, I mean, they were doing well. Stro is just putting out a crap ton of damage. And as long as he's able to continue doing that, we should see the Kazakhs putting out, winning the team fights. As long as you're not biting around Turtle or Barbie, Stro's gonna do damage. So if I'm Pip, I am going to make sure that Barbie and Turtle are with me at all times, so that we can immediately turn on to the Kazakhs.
Man, it feels like Barbie has taken some of these ganks a little bit personally here. He's tired of the 3v1s and the 4v1s. He's looking for the 1v1. He wins that one cleanly. Takes Svoboda down. Svoboda does have teleport. Just 30 seconds out. Crystalero does connect onto Meats. Not a lot of follow-up, though. Stun wasn't long enough. Not enough range on it to get that real big stun out. But right now, it's just posturing for both sides here.
Yeah, and the fact that they don't have that ultimate on Ashe right now is their go button. This is a good time for Travelers to look for something. Especially now that the Baron spawned up and you have the ability, and there's no TP on Barbie. So you have the ability to play the 4v5, get the kill, and do something. Other than that, you just have to start setting up for vision around the dragon so that you can fight for it and secure it. Like, if you want to get back into this game, you have to prep these objectives, and you have to do it on the back timers of Pip.
Yeah, still about 4,500 gold down. Midnight in a bad spot. Has to use the flash. Got a danger there. Just the grouping we needed to see, I think, from Travelers. They are just standing together, moving together. Midnight, is the blue buff really worth it, my man? It's not. Stun does connect from Nutty One. This should be a signal for Travelers to start looking aggressive. Joe positioned by the plant. I don't find anything just yet. Stun comes out onto Barbie. A little bit more damage. Svoboda engaging onto Nutty One. Here comes the Ram, knocking it straight up through the team of Primal Instinct. Quit is the target being run down by Barbie, and he finally gets one. But can he get to that AC? He cannot. And Primal Instinct appears to be getting routed right now. Meats stays on the target, finds the real Haruki, and puts one more down. It's double kill for Svoboda.
Yeah,
it's just greedy from Primal Instinct.
And that's all based off of the pick from Midnight. Like, they were able to take him out, and they felt super confident, and they just went for it. And right now is the best time for them to start the spike. They stop Soul from being taken. They make sure that they have the priority so that Baron's not being secured. And as you just saw, Svoboda hit level 14. Artifacts are now coming in for Ornn. The power spikes are handling. 3k gold behind means nothing when you're wearing 2k gold worth of artifacts.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little bit dangerous now for Primal Instincts. Travelers have come together. They've shown us now why they are a 7-2 team. They just have to be able to put this one to bed. They're still behind. They still have a lot of work to get done. They've collected their first dragon. They're starting to win some of these fights. Primal Instinct needs to be a lot more careful in how they want to approach things here. You cannot be in the we're 13k ahead mindset from game 2 any further, because you're not. This is a much more even game, much more reminiscent of game number 1. And this is the go button aggression. You can't be caught by yourselves, Turtle. Being sent back to base. But Nutty One finds Crystalero, looking to try to turn this one around. Midnight going on in, following up, but right back to the rest of his team. Oh my god, Haruki getting shredded by the plants.
Yeah, this is exactly how Travelers was playing in game 1. They're like, hey, we're behind, but we're going to try, go for the numbers advantage, get the pick, and then go for the kills.
Not on bot lane though.
Yeah, bot lane, like, cool, Barbie gets a turret, but, like, he doesn't have the TP. He can't affect the fight. Svoboda has it. All he has to do is get up there. there's no CC from Barbie.
Now this is a signal for Travelers to start looking back into the fight. Tro just deletes Haruki entirely. Resets the jump, comes right back in. Massive damage being put out. Nutty trying his best to kite, but with your front line dead, so too is the back line. That should be the reset for Travelers, or perhaps a Baron instead. They've lost themselves a bot lane inhibitor. They can reap some rewards still.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a Baron for the side of Travelers. Probably the first time they've had a gold lead in 3 games. Once they secure this, and it's going to be great as long as they're making sure that Barbie can't get any of these towers. This will be very good for them.
Now, with that Baron take, Barbie should have to back off here, but he's sticking around for, in my mind, way too long here. Undertow does find some value. Can you find the knockup? That's a dead Olaf. You stuck around too long, and you found out.
Yeah, they'll have Baron going into this next dragon. They'll be able to pressure these side lanes, hopefully able to getting some turrets. The standing gold, and the fact that they have a lead for the first time, maybe they're going to be able to close it out, and perhaps Kha'Zix is the winning factor here.
This is still close. Right. Gold lead is present on the board, but not enough to really give any measure of comfort to Travelers. What can give them comfort is the sheer momentum they are carrying through this game right now. Every team fight they square up to, they've had a winning solution on how to puzzle it out and break Primal Instinct down. Pip is going to need more than Primal Instincts to win this one now. It's going to come down to puzzle solving. Who's your target? Taking them out, find a way to strip apart this team fight from Travelers.
Well, if I'm Pip, like, all I'm trying to do is stall to this Dragon Soul that comes up in a minute. If you can secure that, you're feeling pretty confident about ending the game. So we'll see how they prepare. Both teams prepare for this objective, but Pip should just be trying to push out this mid wave, keeping that pressure top. The supers are going to do wonders for them here in the bot lane, and then just being able to go get that Dragon Soul, try and close out the game off of that. But it's going to be hard pressed. Like, this is the first time they've been behind the entire series.
So are we thinking give up this next dragon, wait for Baron to run out, and just play for Soul? Or are they maybe looking for a pick beforehand?
They're putting so much pressure on the map right now that I think they secure and continue this, because Travelers isn't respecting this push. They think because they have Baron that this can't be done, but it's happening, and now that the dragon's up, all they have to do is rotate towards it. None of the waves are prepped at Travelers' advantage. And look at that, you got 3 super minions in bot side. No one's cleared them this entire time. You can't contest this dragon fight. This is Soul for Pip.
This is a big one. They still have presence down here. It is Gray who's dealing with the supers right now. Soul goes the way. Primal Instinct. No contest there. This is now, once again, another tough spot that Travelers find themselves in. And this is all off the back of Barbie just free pushing down bot side while the Travelers were winning team fights. Even in victory, it feels like they're still losing out on things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're ahead, but they're also behind. They're on the back foot for everything that Pip wants to do. And it's creating a lot of problems for them because they don't know where to focus. But they're going to have to try and set up a pick, and they just have to do the same strategy. Pick, objective, pick, and then objective. But they also have the added pressure of this of the inhibitor bot side. They got to wait for that to respawn. You have Baron coming up in 2 minutes. The next Dragon's Elder. Like, how do you adapt to make that into your own benefit? Will basically, like, tell you if this game is over or if you're going to win the series.
We have potentially big pick here. Stro looking to catch Haruki out, puts him down.
And
One
it
more.
looks like they're going to respond with a Svoboda kill here in the bot side.
There's 4 people coming to Svoboda. He's trying to buy some time. Big heal's coming through for him, but it's not enough by any means. Bot lane inhibitor is back up now for the Travelers. Just gotta be careful. Everyone has to be careful now. Make sure they're not caught out. Because we're 31 minutes into this game here, Dobby. This game is a coin flip at this point. If you get caught, these death timers they're not short anymore. They have some real significant time disadvantages there. And you can't afford to be out of the fight for that long.
Yeah, but this is also like an even matchup. Like the gold is all even across the map. You're not behind, so like all the damage that Travelers can do will be will be a lot more consistent. But as long as they're able to get the pick, respect the kill, secure objective, they'll win. I think this is going to be a Travelers win because they're playing so much cleaner now than they have been in the first 2 games. Even the fact that they don't have the soul here, they're still making sure that Pip cannot take or break into their base any further.
Oh, he's going right on in. Pop Blossom is the answer. Hits 2, but it's not enough. 3 are immediately deleted from Primal Instinct. You tried and you failed. You could not force it far enough. And here comes Barbie, looking to put some damage down, try to stop them from having a free push into things. He finds 2, and Stro finally puts him down. It's a 2 for 3. It does still favor Travelers, but Barbie is refusing to make this an easy, clean victory for the Travelers. Every time they find something, every time they're starting to win a fight, this Olaf is just there.
Yeah, I mean, Olaf right there probably saved the game. Not gonna lie, getting those 2 kills after losing your 3 players means they were not able to get this Baron. But if Midnight dies here, then Baron's on the table, and so is a 4v5 fight. Now that everyone's starting to respawn.
They tried to send the crystal arrow up, but unfortunately for them, not able to find it. Haruki trying to wait to see if they can find anything here. Does find a good amount of damage, stops the batch, but you're gonna give up your life for it. Here comes old Pop Blossom, finds 2, but it's on the tanks. The frontliners can handle it. Exhaust onto crit, not gonna stop him from going legendary. Turtle now the target, gets double killed, put down. You saved the game once, Barbie, but can you save it again? Here it's just you against the world. All 4 members of Primal Instinct have fallen, and only this Olaf left to stop this push.
If I'm them, I'm taking this tower and I'm going straight for Baron. You might be able to go inhibitor tower as well, but Baron has definitely got to be like the objective you're thinking about. Their death timers are so long. You need to go and get this objective so that you can go win this game. You're now at 5k gold lead. Like, getting this dragon puts you at about another 2,000 ahead. And there's just so much left for you to do. Like, Travelers, you're doing it. You just got to keep your eyes on the prize and not throw this lead that you've amassed for yourself, because, like you were saying, these death timers are now so long.
I just don't understand the play on field that's coming from Primal Instinct right now, right? So clean in game 2. So clean throughout 43 minutes of game 1. And now here at the 30-minute mark in game number 3, the last one they need, they're throwing people one at a time into the meat grinder that is Travelers right now. I mean, why did Midnight dive in? You kicked 2 back, and then you win it. I know they were trying to find the stun from Nutty One. That's a long shot, man.
We call it Lee syndrome. Your mind's telling you no, but your body's telling you yes. But like Pip, Travelers got to be very careful here, right? This is Elder Soul. Whoever gets this is going to win the game. And if you don't respect Pip enough, even if you are ahead, you're not creating pressure in these lanes with your Baron buff, right? So you have no Primal in these lanes. You're getting your base pushed in, and if you don't win this fight, you're losing this game. I
I'll
mean,
be honest, Dobby. I don't like Barbie being here. They've had the most success when they were having Barbie split push, but they're not going to have time to think about it. Meeps dives right on into him. Big ultimates come through, not fighting anything. Sabota finds the first one. Big damage, but Blossom finds so much. This might just be it for the Primal Instinct. They found all the damage that they need. You can't group up against Primal Instinct like that. Travelers have fallen, traveled to the grave, and who's traveling forward but Primal Instinct? Look at those death timers. There's no way.
yeah. You got 35 seconds before someone useful comes up. That was a really good game, all the way up until that misplay there in the engage. You didn't need to force it as hard as you did, but Haruki, amazing Top Blossom, turned the tide of the game, and that's going to be a 3-0 for Pip going into securing their spot into the finals here at Dominate.
Tragic and frustrating has to be the words for Travelers right now. They were so close, this close, taking us to a fourth game, potentially a fifth one as well. Like you said, though, they just got a little too antsy. They jumped the gun. Meeps found himself between two people he did not want to be with, and the Pop Blossom was just set up perfectly.
Right. Like he engaged on the wrong people. The idea needs to be grabbed. It needs to grab the Ashe. The Nico is a good target, but if no one's around you to do the damage, then we saw what happened, right? Like you couldn't get rid of the Nico before the Pop Blossom came out, and that's what turned the tide of that team fight right there. Like you guys played very hard, fast, and it worked good in that third game. It's just a little bit too late when you were ahead, I guess, suppose.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our ult overgrowth didn't land, didn't connect onto anyone. 0 people knocked up from that. And that was one of the big avenues that allowed Primal Instinct to just push back into that fight, knowing that big CC was just down. You know, it gave Haruki plenty of room to play with there. That wraps it up for this semifinal match. It was a long one. It was a close one. It's not all for everything just yet, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with an interview from one of the members of the winning team, Primal Instinct. Welcome back. Long and grueling has the day been for both those teams, but at the end of the day, only one stands victorious. Primal Instinct Purple climbed the hill, announced themselves the victor, and the ones heading to the finals of the playoffs. And in celebration of that, we have none other than Turtle, WH Turtle, the support player for Primal Instinct, join us here for the interview. And Turtle,
Hey,
how we
what's
doing?
up?
How you feeling?
Nervous. Super stressed right now after that game. We made a huge joke before that game started that we were gonna like troll a little bit in game 3 for content. And well, we did, but that wasn't intentional. And it made me a little nervous because I kind of trolled my build a little bit. But we won, so it's all right.
Yeah, it was a very clean series from you specifically. You were constantly just rotating, applying pressure across the map. Um, was there any point besides in that game 3 that you felt uncomfortable in your winning due to the fact that the Travelers were just consistently fighting you for every inch that you took?
Nervous? No, not really. I've been doing this for a while, and this team is probably the team with the greatest mental that I've seen, and also communication. Uh, some past teams we would be doing well in our leagues and winning games just kind of based off of like hands gap and like skill gap. But this team actually feels like 5 players playing the game together, which is a really nice feeling and just makes this like a lot more fun.
All right. What do you feel like was the strengths of Travelers, and like how did you play into that?
Their strengths, they don't give up. I'll say that. I mean, game 1 went on for a while. We had a gold lead the entire game in game number 1, and they still took us to 43 minutes. That game number 3, I know we were doing a little bit of trolling, but still we had like a 6 or 7k gold lead, and they kept fighting us and they kept battling. So they didn't make it easy. So and GG's to them because it was a really good series.
Yeah, it was minus that game too, which was pretty one-sided. How did you feel like going in from game 1 to game 2 that you're just like, wow, this game took forever. We need to change something so that we aren't as affected by it.
Uh, it's kind of an unfortunate habit for us. I don't know if we just need to get our feet wet or something in game 1s, but last week in quarters we had something similar. We went game number 1, we were down 9,000 gold, and we came back and won that in about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. And then the next 2 games, we won, I think, sub 30. So, like I said, everybody's team is super confident, plays well together, and nobody mental booms, which is huge.
Okay. Who would you want to play going into the finals there?
Who are the 2 teams? It's Solbert, and who else is the other one? Oh, TA.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I have history against both those teams slash players, so I really don't care. Um, I mean, I'd be confident going into either series.
All right. I mean, Silbert's got the same winning record you guys do. You don't feel any nerves going into that if they were the ones to meet you in the finals?
No, not really. We scrimmed them a lot before the season started or the split started,
Mhm.
and we beat them pretty much every time. I know that was months ago and things change and metas change and players change, but I don't know. We're kind of riding high right now. We're playing in Aegis as well. We're doing well in that league, so I think the confidence is at an all-time high.
Okay, so you guys are just constantly working together as five and just moving forward as a unit. You don't think that you have any weaknesses out there? You don't have to say them, of course, but you don't feel like there's any like things that you guys could improve upon in your games?
We definitely have room to improve. We actually we play a lot. We play 4 times a week. Um, 2 league matches and 2 scrims, and we went 0-6 in scrims this past
Mhm.
week. So,
Oh my.
but it just goes to show that
Papa,
we're working on things, and even if we're not winning scrims, it's still
Papa,
good practice, and
Papa,
we have stuff to work on before next week, but we got plenty of time.
Okay. And how do you feel about your like do you have like a very good coaching staff that helps you get to where you need to go?
No,
No? Okay. Right on. You heard it here first. Primal
no, no, no,
Instinct
that's a joke. That's a
staff
joke. That's a joke.
sucks. Clip
No,
that.
shout out iPogos is our head coach right now. He filled in. We had a main coach and like a drafting coach, but one of them had to step down, just IRL stuff, stuff happened. So Pogo stepped in and took the reins. He's been super helpful. Everybody in Primal. This is my first split with them,
Mhm.
and I've heard nothing but good things. And then I joined, and top to bottom, from the owner down to coaches down to players, it's just all been. They've been really helpful. They provide us all the resources and everything we need.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure watching you guys go, and just like really great to see you play. Like you did phenomenal out rotating, controlling the map. Between you and Midnight, I didn't feel like you guys were gonna be behind any time. Is there anything you'd like to say out there for your fans before Spooky reads us out?
I don't know if I have too many of those, but I don't know.
I'm one.
Well, thanks, appreciate that. Uh, yeah, thanks for watching and supporting, and thanks to the wonderful people in Primal, from coaches to the owner to the players. Thanks for you guys for streaming us and doing this production. It's I'm gonna watch the VOD, and I'm really excited.
There you have it, folks. WH Turtle himself, a pleasure to watch, a pleasure to speak to you as always. That's going to wrap things up for us here today. But if you're thinking that's the end of your Risen experience here this weekend, you are a little bit wrong there, because we've got plenty more in store for you. Rampage Finals coming up right here, 8:30 Eastern, today, tonight. Be there. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, it's been Spooky, it's been Dobby, and that one War Eagle on the production for us. We'll see you later.